Oh, never mind. Okay, okay. Hello. Uh, is everything good? Oh, so okay. So it was an OBS issue. Got you. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, hold on. Hello! Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Okay, so it was a like OBS issue. Okay. Hello, I finally got to stream. To those who actually like saw like the notif earlier to like the older live stream, I guess that was a test run and I think I'm not muted good. Okay. Hello. So, yes, podcast. Hello. So, I was going to talk about Trove. It's going to be cool. And yeah, I have a lot of things that I get to. So, without further ado, let's actually like go turn down like my green screen behind me, and this is going to be our new like system or like stage. I guess you should say stage. Yes. Look. Wait. Look. Wow. Assets. Cool. I'm here. I turned down my green screen. Cool. Hello. Hello. Alright, I got the most gamer thing possible. I got like Mountain Dew and like Doritos for my snackos. So we're in it. So anyways, prior to like everything, I gotta like touch on the Minecraft thingy before we like start fully to like the Trove talk episode. Because again, I can't stream Trove because haha region lock. It's cool. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just like region lock for like me. It's like annoying, but I can still play it. Anyways, for like Minecraft, found the issue why it wasn't continuously like crashing and saying like bad video drivers. It's technically the mod sodium because I updated the Nvidia card. Big nerd stock. To those who don't know Nvidia, AMD's the graphics cards, I think there's more. I'm not sure, but I'm using an Nvid card, and every time it like updates, there's like a chance that the update might like hard kill the sodium mod that I have like installed for like my Minecraft. That also helps with like frames and also the uh what's it called? The shaders. That's the word. So big issues, but I think I fixed it. I fixed it on my end. I haven't tested it in like unlisted streams, but I will 100% test that like tomorrow. And tomorrow is like my offline day, so it is going to be fun. Cool, cool, cool. And yeah, this is going to be a cool, fun time. Me trying to like fix this again for like episode 6 for the continuation of said research lab. Yay! Anyways, today we're not about here for Minecraft, but for Trove. To those who don't know what this game is, again, this is not fully sponsored. 100%. This is not. Yes, please. This is 100% not like sponsored, which is hey hey. Um, I like prep most things for how Trove works, Trove whatnot, Trove whatevers. But if you don't know what the game is, understandable. But if you're looking for like a free game, this is not an ad. Please, this is not sponsored for anything. This is not. I'm just covering like the game on how brutal I am to like this for playing for like 6 years now. Ugh, 6 years, rough. The 6 years is not a continuous one. It's like on and off. That's why I haven't been like the strongest, but I've been through like history with like the game. So, Trove, to those who don't know, Trove is a free air quotes free to play game that you can even find on like Steam, or go over to like the Tryon Worlds, download said like glyph launcher, or you can just download it instantly to like Steam. It's like a gigabyte, which is not that much, and you can all play. And it is a MMO, a online multiplayer, so a lot of people, which is cool. Economy driven, practically like Albion Online, I guess, sure. But I can guaranteedly say Trove would be the only game out there that I would be 100% like open to like play with everyone, or I can actually make time to play with everyone, because any amount of like thing I can do in like Trove, it's still progress to like my account, also to y'all's accounts. So I don't really mind like playing with anyone when it comes to Trove. So if y'all really want to like play with me, Trove sadly is the only game out there that I can consistently play with everyone. There could be like Apex, Minecraft. Sorry for the majority, because I can't really like uh focus on like another world, because with my tendencies, this is why I'm actually trying to stop it. If I do go over to like any other world, I might focus on that world over than to my like air quotes ultimate fantasy world. That's why I would rather uh try and uh tell it straight that I can't, because I might honestly just drop the series if anything would get me like distracted, and it's just like that. Yeah, that's why I really don't want to like get distracted over to like this world. I need to like focus on this world for like now. So that's why yeah, if y'all really want to like play with me, I have games just like Warframe, Apex. If y'all really want to like play an FPS game with me, 100%, I'll play. Um, we can play at co-op balloons. We can go over to like Trove, 100%. There's also like some niche games here and there, but it will depend on what day or what time I'm going to like play with it, because I have a lot of projects to like think over with. So, hehe. Again, Trove 1 gig. Y'all can play. It's an MMO, and it is practically like a fantasy world. Well, there's not like elves per se. There's fairies. There's like candy creatures. There's like pirates. There's like anything for like anyone. Air quotes in like Trove. It depends on the class. You can get like creative, but um, Trove has like 20, I think 20 plus classes. I'm not sure about that. I really don't. I keep forgoing. I keep forgoing about the classes. But yeah, today we're also 100% going to like cover all of them. So don't worry, don't worry. I'm going to go in depth with all of them, because I practically memorized. I don't memorize the actual stats. I just memorize what the abilities are, what they do, and whatnot. Because I'm one of the rare breeds in like Trove that actually still likes to like theory craft. So hehe. Weird. I know. But to like if you want the hook for like Trove, sure, if you want the game that's like fantasy driven with like mounts, you can ride like a mecha, you can ride food, you can uh, go on boats, you can go on adventures, you can ride your stallion over to like the sunset, you can go over to like the heavens, you can go over to like the underworld. You can do a lot in this game, and I mean a lot. There's a plethora of classes to choose from, like this and this, and yeah. And if someone gets that, you can contact me at my business email. Funny, thank you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, that's typically like the game. It's not 100% an ad. Um, what are the good parts and bad parts about Trove currently? Ooh, okay. So good part is, I guess the game is 100% like free to play. People say it's like pay to win. I don't typically see it. Pay to win is if you really want to like be the top one. like the 1% of the 1%. It's practically impossible now because you should have like started like years ago. That's why I don't really recommend anyone going for like the top 1%. But pay to winning in like Trove doesn't really like matter. It's it just cuts time so fast. That's all that the pay to win in like Trove does. You don't get like a special class for it. You don't become like overpowered instantly. It's not like you get a specific like ally, you can get like a mount and you're like very like overpowered, or even a class or their specific weapon. You can get it like randomly, but it's not really like guaranteed with like a swipe of said credit of the card. So I don't really see the pay to win to like Trove. So yeah, I don't really see that, and I hope that like clears up some issues with like the game. And I don't understand why, because I will take a quick shot over here. People play Genshin, so I don't know why y'all are like uh worried in like Trove. So don't worry, I play Honkai. I play Honkai. I just diss myself. Don't worry. Should have got him more Mountain Dew. Okay. Ah. So, um for like Trove, there's like this interesting like system because the whole game for like a gigabyte only, um it's a voxel game, meaning there's like it's just like cubes, pixels, I guess. Per update it's like maybe 15 megabytes, and there's a lot of content. Like we got a 500 MB update once, and everyone like panicked because we know it's like insane. It's like a gigantic update. Practically a new class just got released with like 500 MB, which is like insane. And yeah, that's actually the pretty cool parts for it being like that little, and yet for me still can like battle like triple A titles. Not like Diablo currently, but you know what? Yeah. Um what else? What else? Oh, the what was I talking about? My scatterbrain just like got to me. The class system in Next Rove, it's not like you're not stuck with the character. You can swap freely whenever you want, which is like cool. There's like another issue though, but we'll just get into all of that in due time, in due time. What are your thoughts about how bad Trove? Okay, okay, okay. Here's where this is going to be like interesting, because again, this is not sponsored, so I can talk my mind. Trove is a laggy mess. That's mainly how I can say. It's very laggy, and you really need to get used to like getting crashing, rubber banding to like enjoy the game. You just need to get like used to that while you're like clearing dungeons. But if you're fine with that and you want a really chill game, yeah, that's typically it on how I could say Trove is. Because currently, I can't really play it properly because I should have been grinding earlier. But I keep like hard crashing, and people like keep getting like mass disconnected, which we still don't know why. And it's Dragon Day, so sad. I don't know. Um yeah. So without further ado, let's start how the game will run, shall we? So typically the game, it's going to be, well, the lore wise, I don't know the full lore, I'm just gonna give you cliff notes. Big bad called like, we're the warriors of like the light, air quotes, and we need to fend off the darkness. That is mainly Trove in like a nutshell, to those people who still care about lore, and to those who don't, like most people. um Neat tidbit. So we, air quotes, Trovians, or like uh the players that came from like another world, blah 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 blah, and we are sent by said the goddess of light to exterminate the darkness and the army of the daughter of thy moon. That is the main bad guy, and they're like gigantic bosses. There's like, I'm trying to count in like my head, six. I think there's like six. Yeah, yeah, there's six. Okay, there's six big bosses, but typically you don't really like see most of those. And there's like other gigantic bosses here and there in like the worlds over the like them, because they spawn in like a specific like area. So you rarely would like see them anyways. So for the tidbit of the game, you have the tutorial. And here's the neat part about this one, because you're going to get introduced with a specific screen. I don't really have like the screenshot because I haven't gotten to make the new entire title yet, where you get to choose like with the five classes, which is Tomb Bracer, Boomeranger, Knight, Candy Barbarian, and the Gunslinger, which is interesting classes to say the least. So, without further ado, I'm going to tell everyone all of the classes that I would recommend, from uh the downside to the very upscale. It's going to be 100% like biased and like opinionated. But if y'all really want to like get the air quotes tier experience, or someone who would like to like mid max even at the start of the game to like end game, then yeah, if you're like that, this might really help you in like deciding who or who not to like pick in the starting of the game. But again, when it comes to like Trove, which is the cool part, you can actually craft all of the classes. So every class is like free, except for the big three, which eventually we'll like cover, because there is a lot to like take into with like this whole uh game. Yeah, but today we're just literally just going to tell like classes, and probably do like a tier list or like rankings personally for like me for some things. I don't really have like visuals for that though, sadly. I didn't like prep that prior, but hey, we can just talk about it. I can do like the whole video eventually. This is going to be like the purely unscripted, because I literally don't have a script on me, on how the game is, on how I understood it. But don't worry, the whole entire video would be like more clean, and I would like voice over practically most of it, because some would just be visual. So, for me, because we do have like five starter classes, being like the Knight, the Barb, the Gunslinger, the Boomeranger, and the Tomb Bracer, is it's going to be an interesting pick for those five, because you have different like weapon styles or weapon types, I guess. With the Tomb Bracer being the necromancer of the whole entire game, he uses a staff. He or she, you can pick. It depends. I just call everyone he. So he. You can pick, or they them. Y'all's y'all choice. Boomers, not not the generation. The Boomeranger, which is actually my main class currently, is a sword, but interesting cool thing, he can also use a bow. So we'll get into that. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of them how they like run. The Knight is a sword user, same with the Candy Barb. And lastly, the Gunslinger, I think you practically know what he uses. Yes, the pew pews. Okay, so personally for me, at the start of the game, we're going to go over again to like the worst, air quotes worst one. None of them are bad. The devs actually really did a good job of like rebalancing, reworking air quotes some of them, so they could like catch up with the other classes up there within the whole entire game. But for like starter players all the way to like end game, we're going for like starter to like mid game, which is I can say 0 power rank to 25k. Yeah. We let's just go for like small bar. Maybe like 15, 10k. Okay. Let's go with 0 to 10k with the classes. Let's just lower it down more. because I'm not sure how people like progress into the game, because again I already played it in like console and I practically got a general idea on how I can like power level everything. So I'm like above the curve into like knowledge. Hold on. Yeah, I just took like a swig of Mountain Dew. I'm about to run out of Mountain Dew before I run out of Doritos. I should have actually made those assets. You know what? I should have made those assets. And okay, take note. Assets. Mountain Dew, Coke. Coke. What? Mountain Dew Dorito. My brain just hard farted. Anyways, okay, to continue with like the whole entire like game. Worst, the best, 0 to 10k. We should actually put this into like text. Where is this? Text 4. Pa, 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 pa. Let's use my font. Boop, boop. 0 to 10,000 PR. Uh, Select color. Okay. Outline. You should make it yellow based on the actual power rank. Sure. Hold on. Hold on. This is going to be outline. Oops. Yep. Okay. Um, for the 0 to 10k power rank on most people on how they can like start over with like the whole entire game, I would not recommend the first class that's going on to here, because people would feel they're like weaker, and a lot of people would say that this class is like weak to like some degree when you're like this low, and people would rather say you would like switch. So to not have a bad time, let's let's not go over, or let's actually not like pick this, because people would 100% just rather just tell you to like swap to like a new character, make a new character, or whatever, to not use this class at the start of the game. But at the end game, it does really good damage, as one of my like friends and like viewers actually like told me that the buff to like this class is actually really good if you do have the proper build. So without further ado, the top 5 of the classes that you should pick with like in Trove sadly would go over to like the gunslinger. All right, calm down before like the spam happens and whatnot. Um, for like the gunslinger, uh, GS, or again gunslinger, GS is what we call it. To those who are trying to play like the game Trove and you're like a new player, this is practically like a very in-depth guide. Again, so gunslinger, GS for the whole entire game. People would type out GS in like the global chat, and you would see like GS that is technically same as the gunslinger. The gunslinger's abilities would be his passive would be, if you're like in air, you hit an enemy. If they don't die, you would stay up into the air. You're like slow falling. You right click, you can charge it, and then you can do like a Hadouken. That's yeah, that's typically like the right click. The number one ability, if uh I use it, never mind. The number one ability, you just get shot up to the air for like 15 blocks, and you automatically get like a slow fall effect. I'm not sure if the tiny bits like they swapped it around, because I haven't read fully the GS patch notes, and maybe they like uber buff something, or they gave it like a hidden ability because I haven't really gotten to like hard main the gunslinger. I'm maining another gun class. But the gunslinger for like my level, very good. For like starter players, switch, I guess. Or if you're really like die hard on a gunslinger because you like the underdog story, go ahead. The gunslinger is still perfectly like strong. But other characters would do things just efficiently. If you would rather like no. That's typically it. Um the game has this thing called like gems, and yes, we're going to cover it now before I like blow past it or like forget about it with like the other classes. The game has these things called like gems with a very very old update to some players who actually don't know, was not in the game prior, but it is used to power level your like power rank or that thing, or your stats. The gunslinger, if you do get, is like class gem. That's what we call it. But it is like a extra accessory that if you equip, a ability for them would get strengthened or change depending on said character. I will cover everything because I memorized. No, don't worry. The gunslinger for his ultimate prior to like said accessory would gain a damage buff and I'm not sure actually. And a attack speed buff. That was the gunslinger's ultimate prior to like said accessory. But if you do have the accessory, it will turn into your right click. The it would shoot explosions out of his guns and do AoE or area of effect to like everyone around him or where you shot at. So great for crowd clear. Great crowd clear for like mid game if you do get like the said accessory for like the GS. So the next part of the list is personally the one that I would pick if you're starting the game with like 0 to 10k power rank would be the good old friend Sir Knight, because passive is if you get hit, you can actually do more damage, which is interesting. Okay. Your right click, you would do a cone attack. You would create like a triangle, you would smash the ground, and you would like damage everything in like a cone shape right in front of you. That's the knight. For your number one ability, you would charge in front and stun. Nah, no, you would just simply like charge in front of said enemy with like your number one. Your number two, your ultimate ability, which is the bread and butter of like everyone. There's you have your ability, you have your secondary attack, and your ultimate. Your ultimate with the knight. I'm not sure how many Trovians it is now. Prior to like everything, I think it's like 8. You could give like a force field, air quotes, to like everyone. You would heal yourself back to full, and you would uh pump every damage from everyone. If they take damage, it will go into you, but it won't kill you, and you could do more damage. Again, to those like new listeners out there, Trove has this like system. If you have this certain like gem, as what the game actually calls it, but I'll name it as a accessory to those who not really understand what the game is. But the game, if you gain enough like experience, people will like help you, and one I can also help if y'all really want to like get into Trove. But there's an accessory that can change a certain skill on like your characters. So with said accessory for said knight, your number one turns into a air quote shadow clone. That's the best way I can like explain this, where it will charge forward and stun anything like behind it. It is practically turning the knight into a ranged character with a Hadouken on itself, which is like really really cool if you really get down to it. You could use the knight. The knight is very strong. Okay. For like the gunslinger earlier, for like the top 5 on who to pick and like the starting of the game, The gunslinger would be the top 5 because he would rely on his like ultimate for like the mass damage possible. For like the knight, you only need to do like left click, which is interesting because the left click, your mouse one, is your strongest attack with him, which is absurd to like say the least. If you really take into account some other characters still need to do like a certain combo, which is to do the max damage. Just if you're like a Giga Chad, pick Knight, mouse one all day, boys. Hey, Knight mains out there, respect, I swear. Y'all's with y'all's like subclass, thank you. Next for like okay, so this is going to be the top three. The top three, this was a close like fight between like second place because typically people would regard this class as one of the better options, but if we take into account the progression of like the game to higher power ranks like I have here, which is the level I guess on how strong said character is, it would sadly or respectfully count as the Candy Barbarian, which weird name, yes. And in this game, there's like a candy land if you really want to get down to it. So yeah, I can't really explain it properly. But the Candyland is like a cool area because this is typically one of those areas that will test your like damage check for some reason. Candyland is like damage check area, which is okay. Weird. For the candy barb, which is very very cool, the right click you would do a AoE spin attack. You would spin yourself and then you would hit everyone in the 360 area, which is cool. All right, everyone also has like a passive. I forgot the passive. Eh. The passive for like the candy barb, the uh every time you like attack an enemy, you get to two candies. The first would like heal you, the second would give you like attack speed, which is cool. I'm not going to go over to the complicated part again because this is going to be like the start of the power ranking with 0 to 10,000. So don't worry, I get the question, but we're going to cover over this in like future episodes when you're like trying to go more in depth about the game. So about the candy barb, about the 0 to 10k, which is cool. The 360 area, that's the right click. The number 1 is a leap. So you would lunge forward and just go in there, just absolutely be a tank and destroy everything right in front of you because that's what barbarian does, eh? Your ultimate, which is actually very very funny and fitting for said guy, is you would drop a nuke ice cream onto like the enemy. You would heal and give everyone like buffs. So he's a tank, he's a great DPS, he can be a speed farmer, and he's a buffer. That's why it was like really difficult to like put who could be in like the top 3 or on their placements. Well, the top 2, I guess. But the next class just slightly went up top because it's like easier and stronger, I'd say, or more off offline brain when it comes to like the end game. So I would rather pick like AFKing while still playing over than like very cool. But nonetheless, candy barbs are still like really really good. This is just like the starting game. It's not like saying like this is the definitive, like these classes are like bad. Every class is good. It depends on who you want to play. Have fun. It doesn't matter in this game. People say it doesn't matter. In this game, it truly does not. Because every class is strong. No one is that weak that they can't do anything. Everyone can do everything. Some are just like more efficient. But efficient is like 5 seconds. That's all. So go ahead, pick anyone. It doesn't really matter. Great game. So I'm not sponsored. I gotta throw that out there because someone might just say, "Oh, this is just a sponsored like stream." It's not. The cool part about uh yeah, but before I get to like whatever, uh I'm like getting lost in thought. That's typically like the barb. Well, okay, I almost forgot about this. The accessory or like the class gem to like people who actually, I already said this like two times. I already said this like multiple times, but yeah, you can just scroll back and whatnot. The candy barb for this one is um rather than leaping into a forward motion with your number one ability, you would get a ice cream whirlpool. I guess that's the best way on how I can like explain that. And you would jump up into the air then forward. So you would gather everyone up in a small area or right in front of you. You would leap and smash down on everyone. Cool? Yes. Makes him more tanky? Sure. Yeah, the candy barb is practically one of the jack of all trades in the scene, because Knight, everyone is, but some can just do it like slightly better. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the top three. Let's move over to like the top two before I like for gore. For the top two, which is going to be like, oof. Okay, people would say without a doubt, top one is like top one for like for everyone for like currently, even for me, even though I want to swap over to like another class. The next class is the funnily enough the class that I started my PC journey in, which is the good old necromancer over the whole entire game, with him getting into the fray with skeletal babbies. Tomb Raise! Hi, friend. Hello. Okay. Cool part about him, with the Tomb Raiser, um, the passive is every time you would kill a enemy, you would gather their soul, and then you can spawn them back in. Not the exact same enemy. You would go over to like your little skeleton minions. They will turn into like skeletons no matter who they are. So this also happens passively. Your right click is what summons them, which is very much cool. And I know the stats of the top two because I actually played them intensely, or intensively. Yeah. Intensively. The other three, the prior three, like the Candy Barb, the Knight, the Gunslinger, I haven't really like deep dive into them. That's why I can't really give you like concrete stats on what I know of. But for like the Tomb Raiser, for like the number one, you go invisible. You could heal your skeleton babies faster, and you get life steal, and you get damage resistance or damage reduction, just in case you have a 80% damage reduction, which is your get out of jail free card on this game. Haha, cool. Your ultimate is if you spam enough of your skeleton babies, you would see like a health bar. It would be blue. If you spam enough, it would be purple. If you have 6 purple health bars, you can press your ultimate and you can get a gigantic skeleton to like help you. Which, hey, I gotta say, if you really want to those who are like big fans of like solo leveling, hey, arise, my friends. 100% go! It is a really, really cool class, I swear. Sure! It won't be as cool as like Beru or even like Tank. Uh, well, the others. I forgot their names on the amount of like manhwa that I've like consumed. So, um, and whoa, I almost. Whoa, Taglish. Whoa, Taglish moment. Hello. Um, the accessory for like the Tomb Raider or the class gem, I should really like either or. Um, the two of them would be a you would summon like a banshee. Yeah, banshee that could also heal your skeleton minions, so you can not focus solely on your skeleton minions, which is like very very cool. You could 50-50 within like you would go over for like the skeleton minions and do damage and like survive without actually getting into the fray and healing your like little minions. You could like survive more when you said get this, and I've been talking for 40 minutes, really. Whoa, I talk a lot. Okay, to continue this, yes, this is the top two, and to those who are actually really really cool, who know who actually start to play the game for like a couple of time. This is for the definitive top one for some players. There's like the top three, and they're all bow characters, which is like funny. So the top one of who you should pick in my personal list from 0 to 10k power rank would be my boy Boomer Ranger. 100%, dude. He okay. I like the Boomer, which is like cool. You could the passive is you could pick like swords or bows. Y'all pick. Hey, no hate. 100%. I pick bows. You go with swords. Hey, go ahead. Before, it didn't matter. But to those who are like returning players and like trying to like listen to this for like in their like off time, thank you. But for like returning players, the Boomer actually had like a rework where swords and like bows actually do matter now. So yeah. The swords would be um well, the passive of course would be you could either pick sword or bows, and let's go over to the swords because it's going to be like easier for me to explain. But the passive would be sword. You can pick either a sword or a bow. You can either go close range if you really want to, or long range, what I do. And you could pick between those, which is like interesting in itself. Plus, if you're like low HP, you would have a fairy. I haven't gotten to this point yet because I haven't really like got I haven't felt the passive, but you would get like 100% damage reduction, which is yeah, sure, okay. For his buff, which is like insane with like damage, sure he needed that. Yes, 100%. I agree. I agree. Thank you. Thank you. Um Swords, right? Before I get like more scatterbrained with like this character because there's a lot to like uncover. Swords. The passive is you get like three attacks, and the first two attacks would be a left and right swing, but the final attack for like the sword, you would do the exact same as the right click for the candy barb, which is you would do damage to the 360 area. But the cool part about the Boomer Ranger, it scales out of attack speed while the candy barb does not, which is I don't know why, but the boomer, when that's what we call it, boomer, not the generation, the actual class. The boomer would be if you have like 300 attack speed, which is very much feasible, or just 270, which is the most for like characters, people. If you do have enough like attack speed, you could create like cyclones, which is the actual like other passive. Yes, he has multiple passives, which is like oof, okay, yeah, he totally needed this. um the multiple passives, and plus with the multiple ultimates, don't worry, we'll get into that, and the multiple skills, yo, cool class. um okay, I just got absolutely a scatterbrain. I don't know what I was on. Okay, the third attack, I remembered, the third attack for like the spin, You would, of course, 360, and then you would leave a cyclone. It would stack the damage. So, practically anything that goes into that area would just get like deads. Hey, that's why I said you should pick the sword or the bow. Either way, they're dying. So the cool part about this also is your weapon type also changes what the skills would be for said boomer. So if you're using a sword, you would get, well, your right click would be a gigantic boomerang, which is slow but deals a lot of damage. And I can really explain this properly. But your cooldown would get reduced, which is okay. The cooldown reduction is like okay. The bombs for like the boomer would result into, rather than one big bomb, you would spawn in little bombs. You could get, you have small little bombs that can like destroy dungeons, which is okay. Swords, cool, very much. Your ultimate is like RNG, um, as a skill. It's a definition of random BS go, and it works for some reason. So yeah, that's cool. For the bow, you have fire arrow, you have an explosive arrow, and you have an ice arrow, which is okay. The fire arrow deals like damage over time, or dots damage over time to like the enemy with like the fire. The ice slows down the opponents, and the explosive, I think you're it go boom. You have four boomerangs in this stage for like the boomeranger, and it goes into like a shotgun manner. Oh, I also forgot. He has an alter passive, is when you catch the boomerangs, you get like a attack boost, attack speed, and movement speed, which is, sure, he needed that. Okay. So for your bombs, it wouldn't be like five, but one big one, rather than like the sword with like the small ones. But here comes the ultimate, because it's like very, very like, eh. The ultimate, I can really like explain this. You can just uh don't worry. We'll do an extensive guide. I'll do one. So the ultimate is you throw down this like urn, which is like, I guess, the gold block essentially to like Mario, which is like um weird. Uh it would be, what's it called? RNG 100%. Because you could get like damage, no, not damage reduction. You can get cooldown reductions, I mean. Cooldown reductions, HP, you could get like a phoenix, you can get big and do more damage. You can get more bombs that will explode. You can call down a meteor. You can call down the market guy to smack everyone with like a hammer. You can even pick the counter end of the end game boss, which is, hey, that's cool. So hey, classes aside, hey, boomer, y'all know I'm a boomer main. So hey, y'all know. Okay, now enough with like, over with all of that, because yeah, that's typically all that I could like properly say at like the beginning of the game, because the whole entire journey beyond this point would be depending on y'all's. So get stronger, get like other classes. Don't worry, next episode we'll actually go over like said classes, which is going to be like next Saturday. Yeah, Saturday would be the me just talking about the games or future plans about said like streaming and live. But yeah, that's typically it, because the end game is not a straight line for like Trove. You pick what your end game is. You could either start mining, you could continue like destroying dungeons, you could control the market, you could get like colored names, You could there's a lot of things that you can do in like Trove in like the end game. That's why I would be well, okay. Before I like biff up my sentence again, let's try and cover the amount of end games that there are in like a future episode. But the more this like continues, because this is going to be like the first episode and like a try run, we'll see how this goes. But anyways, thank y'all for like sitting down with me and talking about one of my like games. Next week, I'm going to do Minecraft for the whole entire series. So hopefully you do like enjoy. And yeah, see y'all in another episode of like Turning Gears, because it's going to be like a sit down talk after like the whole week to like recap maybe on like Minecraft, a certain game that I want to like cover, or any future projects that I might be interested in to like share with all of y'all and put onto everything. This is going to be like a recap for like the week, essentially. So hope you enjoy this like new series that I actually conjured up. And yeah, see y'all in episode 2 next week. And to those who actually subscribe for my Thrive series, thank you again. Mondays, hey, enjoy the episode 6. Bye bye. Thank you again.